What if I did?
Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Reverend Dr. Michelle Izuku and Reverend Jeannie Sovereigns. Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Arizona time and rebroadcasts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday morning. Sofa Sundays with Michelle and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
Laundry is just packing to stay home. And I love that. I was like, oh, I didn't even like home adventure.
Check 1, 2, check, check, check.
You're on it.
Something to do with this.
Okay. There we go. There we go. I'm telling my stupid dad jokes while we're away there.
Anyway, we wanted to say, welcome, Jeannie. We're glad you're here, even after having surgery just recently.
Yes, Thursday I had
That's how much she loves you all.
my
Just
left
want you
knee
to know.
replaced. So
She stayed. She came back anyway with Miss Left Knee feeling
yes,
not left out.
not left out. Yeah, she's she's having her swelling and
Her own pity.
well, that's what was I saying? She's sore, swelling, and I'm sleeping. So yeah, it's the yes
She's sore,
brigade.
swelling, and mine's sleeping.
It's the yes brigade.
Oh,
But,
Lord, I'm glad you're giving this to us.
I want to point out and thank you too. One of the amazing things about having a tribe, which we talk about all the time on this
so
sofa,
important.
is that when I did get out, I texted my tribe and let them know how it was going and how I felt. And then they checked in with me and I checked in with them to say, here's how it's going still. So I felt covered in love, for the last 4 days.
Yeah.
So that's definitely an amazing aspect anytime you're going through a life quake, to have that people you can reach out to.
Right.
Because I'm not in any way, shape, or form. I know I'm all talkative right here, but trust me, when I'm laying in bed and I'm in pain, the last thing I want to feel is talky, right? But, to be able to text and say, this is where I'm at, and have people reach out was very awesome. So thank you. Thank you.
Aw,
Thank
we love you. We do love you.
Yeah. So if you'd like to be part of a great tribe, get yourselves down here at 7220 North 16th Street. We're located between Glendale and Northern in Phoenix, Arizona. 85050. And on the door is the new girls with the pink hair.
I know, we got it. Did you guys notice?
Yay! Did you guys notice? See, I didn't notice either. Michelle had to tell me. So, but
All
anyway,
that work
for the girls.
for the girls. We love our love.
Yo.
Wonderful. Yes. I think everything's updated now. Which
I
is
think
here,
so.
So don't get changed.
And now I want blue.
QR code isn't.
Oh, our QR code.
Oh, Evie.
I've been noticing that for months.
It's our editing eye. We can't help ourselves.
All
All
right.
right. Mark that
You
down.
are good.
Yeah, I so would have noticed that. Wouldn't have noticed that one. So I would love to pray us in.
Oh, look at that. And look at how we have.
All right, here we go. So just knowing and affirming that everything that has happened before this now moment, or that will happen after it, is set and staying exactly there. While we are here in the now, in this present moment that is God, that is life, that is joy, that is awareness, that is that compassion and love, that each and everything as our cells are moving through our bodies, radiating the love and joy that is us. This is only happening in a moment. And for this, I am so grateful. So I speak my word for the highest and best for this time together, knowing and affirming that each and every person here and within the sound of my voice receives exactly what they need to receive. And I send blessings and guidance and guard of their heart to leaders and teachers of all faiths everywhere, knowing that they are moved by God in divine right timing, and that things that may appear to be what we do not wish them to be can be used for good. That this world is healed in the light of God. In this moment, this now space that is us. And I let it go. And I say, thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, universe, for the instant manifestation of this now. I let it go. I call it good. And together, thank you. I saw that you did this for Michelle. You know, she's the one that taught me that.
Oh, she didn't take credit for it.
I know. I was surprised. Yeah, that was her thing.
She acted like,
Yeah, and
she's so humble.
she's so humble. That one.
You were the one.
I know.
I know.
She gave it to you.
She gave me the credit for it,
Like,
which
oh,
is
did you do?
Yeah, I just take it for, I give her credit,
There you go. So Michelle.
Yeah. There you go.
That's right.
It's funny though. It's always amazing when you hear things come around, right? Like
Yeah.
you're like, because that's the collective consciousness too, right? That it's up there, and somebody in New York says the same thing you're saying over here in Phoenix, and you've never met, you've never had a conversation or whatever, but here the collective consciousness, it's right there for everybody to take. So I do love that.
Right, and that's why when you get ideas, if you don't act on them, someone else is going to.
Right, because like if you have a
Something,
doppelganger, your brain does too. So yeah.
That's right. So act on those things. You'll see someone else doing the thing that you wanted to do. Doesn't mean you can't do it though.
That's right.
You can still do it.
Because your thing's needed as well.
I agree. You do it your own way.
Exactly.
Or else there'd only be one singer.
Right?
Like, oh, somebody's already singing.
Somebody's already singing. I can't do that.
It's not
Exactly.
how it works.
There'd already be one person with gray hair,
Or
blonde,
pink hair.
hair.
That's it. Sorry, Jeannie did the pink hair.
That's right, I got it.
I can do it now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work for you to cheer up the rest of the world.
Right? It would be. So thank God there's more than one.
It's a lot. Thank you. That's a good way.
Individuation of God. Even though there's
Yeah.
only one. Speaking of only one, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my vacation part prior to surgery. We drove to Texas, and by we, I sat in the passenger side there and back.
Good
Okay.
job, Dakota.
Dakota did all the
Took care
driving.
of it.
I made the sandwiches. I got the snacks. That was my job. And we played the bingo, the auto bingo, which they give you little different signs on these auto bingo boards, right? And they're things like horse, cow, lake, river, stop sign, no parking, S curve. I have not seen an S curve in 3 states, people. I don't know if they exist anymore. They didn't have, I mean, it went like this. I was like, that looked like a bad people, but I don't know. There was no S curves. Anyway, that was my thing on it. But one of the things that I would tell you about the Unity on the drive back, I was speaking in July and Las Cruces. So we had gone through Las Cruces and just an adorable town. You've never been to Las Cruces. It really is an adorable thing. It's got like a real Prescott type of vibe, and yet not as crowded. So yeah. But the Unity Church and the Science of Pine Church are the same building. And the Unity Church is like at 9 o'clock to 10, and then there's a 10:30 meditation, and then Science of Mind starts at 11. And I love that.
I love that.
I love,
How was that?
so I thought that was just an amazing thing
Yes.
that they were, and they're right off of Church Street, so they're not the only churches there. They're on Main Street. We had to turn off at Church Street, which had a bunch on there to get onto Main Street. So, yeah,
That's cool.
I loved it.
That's nice. I like the sharing is nice.
Yeah,
Sharing's caring. I think so too. That's like you share with Michelle in this space.
yeah, I like the sharing.
I like the sharing. All right. Well, I love that you're back, and I love that you had a great time. You got to see your family.
I did.
Just so important.
I tell you, Liam's taller than me.
What?
My almost
How is
13-year-old
that
grandson.
possible? How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
I know, right?
He's
How
like,
old is he?
it will be 13 July 1st. And
He's
he's
eating
like,
the same stuff
I-
Tracy
I
does.
get and he's got a size 12 men's foot. Was it 12? 12 and a half.
I think 12.
Yeah.
Lord, I think True is at 11 and a half. You're 11 and a half?
Yeah. How that?
Why is
well,
this
I
happening?
don't know.
Shoe
Your
size?
foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And his voice is all deep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Sometimes Drew will come in the house and he'll say something that scares me because I'm not expecting that.
Man.
Yeah. It's
And
kind
I'm
of
like,
crazy.
oh my God. It's just, so
So,
now you've got that. You
yeah.
got one of those too.
and
now,
we
you
just seen him 2 years ago. Like when he was 10, he still like was a kid.
know? They're like
Now,
babies. They're like
and
little
now
babies.
he's like a little man.
Oh,
So,
my goodness.
Today's experience, our experiential, I almost got that word out, is my awareness of good expands, bringing more joy into my life.
Oh, it does it?
It does. or my awareness of good expands, bringing more joy into my life. My experience, because I've been both people. I've been that person who's seen those cartoons where the one guy's sitting at the side of the train where all it's looking at is mountain. And that's all I can see, and the other guy's looking out and he sees the valleys and all the pretty stuff and everything. And, you know, I've been both those people at different time periods. But driving bingo thing really had us looking. Well, I mean more so than because we wanted to stay on the road. So, you know, but it really had me looking at everything. So I'm looking at this farm country.
So you're playing a card bingo game?
A card bingo game, yeah. We were trying to have blackouts, get all the things, you know, and really looking at the different geography of the areas was pretty amazing. And that is one of the things that helped me get into joy, was expanding my awareness versus scrolling on my phone or, you know, sleeping. Though I did do that one day. I was pretty nauseated, so you know, there's those things. But instead of like being all hyper focused into nothingness, I was able to be open and aware and seeing. And I've never seen so many cemeteries in my life. We drove through a lot of cemeteries.
Crazy.
It really was, but they were old and it was cool, and there was these
No.
lands and stuff. So there was a couple different places that we'd go through these neighborhoods, and I'd be like, I could be here. Fences and yeah, it was just so cute.
Right. And that's just what you want to be noticing at the time, because I'm sure there's plenty of things you could have noticed that weren't.
Right, so
weren't
cute.
that.
Yeah.
You could have been like, oh, this.
Yeah.
But I've driven through Texas too, and it wasn't such a beautiful you know? It's just.
There were some of those places,
like,
yeah.
my God, you know, like, and you go for so long with nothing.
Yeah.
With nothing, and then all of a sudden there's like a row of trees. You're like, oh,
They
there's
started
some
raining
trees,
one day.
and then they're gone, and there's just nothing again. Like, well, I don't know how to stay focused on that. So, I mean, it's really,
Are you going to look for a hole?
and just like going to see more.
Yeah.
You're going to be attracting that now, and be seeing that in everything. I see it's only rock wall. Wow. It's going to
Right.
or expand your awareness for good looking for that. It's like looking for a car. That's how it works. So if we look to how much good can I find in a day, you're going to see more good in the day. But there's a lot of yucky stuff right now. There's a lot of yucky stuff on the news, a lot of yucky stuff. If you're an Instagram watcher, there's tons of stuff that you can get all lost in. And you know how Instagram works. If you click on that to go watch this negative thing, you're going to get 5 more just like it. Mm-hmm. And you can spin out looking at one thing after another. And my husband sometimes looks at different things and he'll say, why am I getting this stuff on here? I go, because you look at it.
One time.
He gets some strange things sometimes. And he's like, how is this on my feed? This is like some weird, somebody dancing weird, doing some weird stuff. You know, it's like, I go, because you'll look at it for a second to see what in the world is it. Like, just if you flip past them, the algorithm stops sending it to you. But so that happens with life too. If you are choosing, not that those things aren't there and scary and bad or whatever you want to call it, but if you want to sit in that and keep looking at it and more evidence of it and whatever, then it's going to keep perpetuating in your life, and you'll have conversations about it, and other people, and it just keeps going and going until you can't. It's hard to see the good. It's hard to see the positive stuff because that stuff can seem really big and all there is. Mm-hmm. But we as religious scientists all in this room, and anybody watching, you can be whatever faith you are, but we all, most faiths, we all know there's only love, there's God, and there's love, and it's good, right? To look at. So like in my mind, when you went through having so much pain in your knee, but yes, was the pain there? Was that real? It was. That experience, that healing experience, was exactly what you were feeling. But what did you do? You didn't sit in there and go, well, maybe you did for a minute. But
Look, she knows me.
hold on,
Yeah.
But there's good, that part of me that, but wait a minute, I have a tribe though.
Yes.
I'm not doing this shit by myself. I got a tribe. I know that they all pray for. I'm gonna pull out all my resources, all the good stuff I have, and I'm gonna pull that. And I'm not letting this be the winner. This be the only thing. I'm the only thing I'm looking at. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So you put out, even through pain, even through how hard that was, you had a moment of clarity at least to say, oh no, I'm gonna reach out and let my people.
Because it helped me feel better.
Yes.
So, we talked about world events and stuff, right? And they are just crappy. There's my spiritual word of the day. Okay, horrible things happening, and at no point believing in love or goodness or oneness will that take away that particular actions that are happening. Those things are happening.
Yes.
They're there. But how much I'm going to elect for that to affect the inside of me, right? I'm going to do what I can when I can do it. And sometimes the best I can do is pray. And as a person who knows that prayer works, that prayer makes things better for me, that is something that I do. That is something that next right action. At this point, I cannot. People in the Middle Eastern world by anything that I can do right here, right now, outside of holding love and light. When there is something I can do, then jump in and do it. That's how I look at it. So sometimes it's hard when people are like, thoughts and prayers, they say that and they make it sound so weird. Don't begrudge thoughts and prayers, right? You know what I mean? Because I was in pain yesterday. I wasn't feeling good yesterday. And that helped me. Thoughts and prayers helped me. It's one of the things of, how to keep joy or maintain joy or open up for joy that I had written down here. If joy only lives in the here and now, not in the regrets. What if we asked what beauty or blessing you're right now? That was one of the things in, sure, we could have bitched. It was a long drive. They were like, and there was some traffic. I will tell you that my partner did call El Paso traffic cute. Oh, look at this. This isn't even anything. So, looking on the bright side of it, it was not. It wasn't, their traffic is nothing like downtown Phoenix traffic is, right? So there's those things when we look at a positive way of seeing something, even if we're delayed, even if we're in pain, even if it's not going the way we suspect we would like it to go, that if we can hold that part, then it's easier to either maintain your position and not fall down the rabbit hole, or maybe even climb out of the rabbit hole.
Right. Well, and by you reaching out to everybody to pray for you, you gave us an opportunity to do good. You gave us an opportunity to bring joy, to be the good. And then so when we came back with our prayers, and you knew we were holding prayer, whatever, that created more good, right? And when I say to somebody, sometimes I don't always pray out loud. I don't always sense I want to pray when someone else say I'm praying right now, or I'm on it right now, and I go into my own space and do that. But I take that seriously. That given do something when we physically cannot do something. We physically cannot be or have problems. We always do. Physically, that's not what we do. But we can pray. The more of us, thank you, the more of us do that, there's, I don't know who did that study. There's evidence. There has been evidence of the power of all of us praying. It's like focusing our energy on the same thing. And the more we do that, it does tip the scale over. It is more powerful than all the negativity. So I do believe in that. And you know, sometimes people just throw that there, oh, praying for you, whatever. But like, I think that's not something to be taken lightly. I think when you say I'm praying for you and your family, that you immediately do that, and that because that energy,
Right.
is a force to be reckoned with.
And
we
we were taught that, right?
Yes.
We were taught that. Like you know, I remember being told, "Don't." Hi.
Yeah.
I remember being told, "Don't answer the phone unless you're ready to pray."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
It can happen.
yeah, you know, so like you have to be in that space that I'm ready to pray, especially when it's telemarketers.
Oh my God.
So you know, I'm
But
ready
I
to
think
pray.
that was a huge example of you being in that position that a lot of people get into, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain or whatever the pain. And if you can just for a minute think to reach out, even like you don't have to do anything, let the rest of us do it.
Mhm.
You know, here's what's happening for me. Can you pray for me? Absolutely. And then just go back to
Right?
rest.
Sleep. Yeah.
Just let it come because it does come.
For some people, they know you got your. Sorry, fell asleep.
So yes, there is so much we can complain about, we can worry about, of course. And at the same time, there's the opposite. There's plenty that we can find good in and rejoice, stuff to rejoice about, and miracles and things that we couldn't believe would happen and they did, and moments of kindness, strangers helping. So much more of that. I don't know why we tend to not recognize that as easily as but I think it's just the muscle. I think it's just muscle memory. And the more we practice, like, I'm going to look for good today. Yes, this is happening. I'm going to pray for it. That's the ability, what I'm able to do right now. And then I'm going to rock out today, and I'm going to be the goodness and the kindness and the joy that I want, that I claimed in that prayer. I'm going to do it. And that's our job. And if we can all take that job seriously and move with that, the more that things will change on the outside. And I don't know, is it because that's what we're doing? We're attracting more actually changing it up. Like,
Right.
try to think to but I'm telling you, that's there's no reason to lose hope or to be in fear or to be in worry like that. We have a tribe. We have that ability. That's our calling, and I think that was right?
Absolutely. It's so funny to me because there's a lot of people who have said things to me over the years about like you're always happy. No, I'm not. Here are those I have a propensity that goes down rabbit holes like all other humans, right? It was only for the fact that I started talking to other humans that I found that out. Right?
Right.
Because I was also a person, I can do it all on my own. I'm fine. I don't need any help. No, I'm good. What can I do for you? You know, so until I actually started getting vulnerable and being real about my emotional content inside where I was, you know, I didn't know that other people felt that way too. And then I was able to reach out and to help others and then allow others to help me. And that's what brought me more to this awareness and the expansiveness of life, not being black or white, right? Yes, each thing exists and there's a gradient in between as well that we can find ourselves on. And if we travel down this road, we will eventually find our way to the darkest dark, or we'll find our way to the lightest light. You know, but most of us are living right in the middle, right? Where we see some of this and we see some of that, and can I just have dinner tonight and just breathe my way through it, and you know, hopefully wake up tomorrow and things are a little bit better in my circle, you know, and then my state, my country, you know, my world, my universe, you know, hopefully that each time that we give out of who we are as God, that, like you said, brings the energy up, brings the vibes up, you know, I just was reading, actually, let me see, because I think I did on this morning. I saw it and I snapped a picture. Like, oh, I gotta read this because it was so good about what we're talking about here. And of course, it's not there.
Always.
Lordy. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I did share. I think I actually shared it on Sofa Sunday's Facebook group this morning because I'm that person who forgets those things, right? And I was like,
So where did I put that?
Where
I
did I
tried
put
to
it?
save it. Where did I put that? It was
there we go.
Okay.
Joy doesn't cancel out the heavy things, but it gives you little pockets of strength to carry on. Let it in whenever you can and wherever you can. And I just thought that was so perfect for this. It doesn't cancel out the heavy things. It doesn't cancel out the negative, but it gives us the strength to carry on. You know, that's the biggest thing that I've got this day, and it was one of the reasons that I really wanted to see my family. I have this time off, and I'm not going to have this opportunity to see my mom and my grandsons and my daughter the rest of this year. And I really wanted to. Doing that really helped us.
And I love what you said about not being aware that everybody else goes through these things too. One of the big aha moments I had with my first doing business consulting with the first my creative course, and I had several business owners together going through a very beginner's course, right? And some of the moments of, and as soon as it happened, it was like a big aha, like, oh my gosh, I remember this too as a business owner, thinking you're the only one that feels this way. Thinking that you're a failure. Oh, I didn't get this done, so see, I'm just not good at this. It's like, no, nobody got it done. But if you're just running it alone and doing it alone and not having anybody else around, no frame of reference, you think you're just suck at it, or you're not doing it right, or whatever. But the moment that you come into a class, that's why groups and classes are so important, with other people trying to accomplish the same thing, and they stall out, or they get frustrated, or they don't understand something, you go, oh, I'm not the only one that didn't understand that? Oh, okay, and then me as an instructor, because of my experience and my intuitive, I go, hey, it's okay, this is not a place to quit, or like people won't show up to class because they feel humiliated that they didn't get something done, or maybe they got overwhelmed or something. So I'll call them and say, like, no, you come to class. Don't not come to class. You're going to see that you're not the only one that got in this, that it feels the same way. And then we'll move forward as a class instead of you now stalling out and not making your way through it at all, because you're thinking something that's not true. It's not based on any fact.
Right.
It's just based on where you are all by yourself. So yeah, it's so important to, as humans, I hear this a lot from people. They don't realize that other people are afraid of things too, or that other people find this whatever hard too, or that we all have, I don't know, it's funny.
There's a saying in the program that goes, stop comparing your insides with other people's outsides.
Thank you.
And we do that so much. Like, we watch other people and they're making the grade. Their house is clean. Their kids are great. They got the perfect job, whatever, right? Yeah. And so, like, inside of us, we're all insecure. We're not doing the things. And then we're, like, looking at them going, I'm never going to make it. And then they've got their people that they're looking at that's not making it for them.
Everybody has a thing. My daughter-in-law, who is 6'5", looks like Hercules, blonde, tiny little curl, very tan. When I first met him, he was buff, like he was, chiseled guy. And they fell in love, got married, whatever. And I learned later on that this man had once tried to kill himself. He had gotten into a space where he looked like that. His father was a pastor, and he hated that whole life. So and they were in Washington, and he left as far away as he could go. Now, he tells the story, this is part of his testimony, but he had left and moved to Florida because he wanted to get as far away from that life as he could. And in Florida, good-looking man, making money, he was just having a party of his life, right? Women, drugs, everything, doing all the things, just having a great time. and he was still miserable. And one night he says he was high, and he was at a movie, and in the movie, the person in the movie committed suicide in a way that he thought would be something that would be easy and not scary and something that he would do. So he planned it. He took his car, he drove it up to a hill, and he hiked up the gas to come into the car, whatever he did. And when he did that, he was ready. That was what was going to happen. He was going to kill himself. And the next thing you know, he woke up in a hospital. And what had happened was the car ran out of gas. And he got out of the car, obliviated, brain gone, and just started walking. Actually, he got out of the car, and then he fell, and he hit his hand on the tailpipe of the car. So he also had his hand was bleeding. He's walking down. He wanders into this grocery store parking lot, wandering. People are like, "Are you okay?" You know. Finally, they got help for him, and he got him in the hospital. Figured out who he was. Called his father, who came all the way across the state. You know, crazy. Came, got him, and they said he'd never. They didn't know how bad the damage was going to be, but he may not even be able to feed himself. He may not be able to walk. He may not be, like all those lower level functions could be gone, and they kind of thought they were. And the father drove him back because he was not flyable. So he drove him back, and I guess they would stop along the way and get the hand cleaned out at different hospitals, and then was doing different things, reminding things, asking him, talking stuff. And today, you would never know this. If you walked in the room today, you would never know that he had attempted that and that the severity of it, because he's been healed, because lots of prayer, lots of work. He does crossword puzzles and stuff like that, like constantly, just to work with that part of the brain. But when people see him, and always when people see him, they just think he's got it all. He has everything. That he's just a guy that's like, whatever. And then I love that he has that story, because he's able to say, yes, but here's where I come from. Here's what happened to me. And then people go, oh my gosh, yes, it happens to all of us. Maybe we don't take it to this extreme, but there's other extremes that we take it to. There's other things that we do. But we all have this thing, and I love his testimony so much, because I feel like that gives a lot of people the awareness that, okay, so here's somebody that I think looks like he's got everything made, and he still stumbled. So when I stumble, that's okay. I just have to get back up, And for me, I always think about, and you have your tribe. You need to have, like, he didn't get back up by himself.
Right.
But and with God, a lot of prayer. There's a lot of prayer. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of that support. But everybody I've ever known has had something. Some awful negative thing, and they've overcome it. And maybe more than one thing, maybe a lot of things, and they still overcome it, and they still smile.
Right.
And they still want to be hopeful, and they still
right. That wasn't the end of it for them.
It's incredible. And in fact, it makes them, some people have a hard time with it. Some people, it makes them even a brighter light.
Right. And I really do think, like you were talking about with your brother-in-law, I think there's a certain point there where you go through, enough life quakes that you're like,
Yeah. I know this one. Wait,
I know this one.
I know
I do remember having different things show up in my life and going, but I did this test. Like, what's up with this? Why? And then, and I'd have my hangry moment, eat a Snicker and move on. No, that would be great if that was the cure for it all. That would be it.
I'm pretty sure it's possible.
Yeah.
We could try it.
But, but knowing that you've had your things, like knowing these things about each person that says, okay, well, what? No, it wasn't exactly like mine, but did you, and this is, a 12-step thing too, because you can always identify the feeling, right? Like, we all know what anger feels like. We know what sorrow feels like, shame, grief. Like, there are these certain feelings that, I might not have had it at the same level or in the same way as another human, but I know they understand it. That also brings me over to compassion and gratitude and forgiveness, right? because I know that this experience has happened for you, whether it was an embarrassment in second grade or, you know, you lost everything at 53. You know, you don't know, right? Like how it goes up there. We've all experienced that emotion. And that's where try beginning within first, right? Beginning within, knowing that the only thing that I create in here is those things. Like that's mine to do. That joy, that, you know, love, that stuff is created inside of me. And yes, things can cover it at times, but it's never gone. It's not erased. It's not flushed out. It's in there.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot of, and every time we overcome something like that too, we get a little stronger. Have you ever gotten through something that you thought maybe you wouldn't get through, and then you get through it and you're like, hey, I'm on this side of it. Like, oh, holy cow, what just happened here? You know, like, I can remember having a breakup with somebody that I loved desperately, and I broke it off because we wanted different things. You know, I wanted more kids. I wanted to be married to this person, and we never asked. We both assumed. Have you ever done that too? Like, just assume. Like, you fall in love with somebody. What does everybody want to do? They want to get married and have kids, right? No, they don't. How about you talk about that at some point? So that was my fault, but I never expressed that, and he never expressed that he didn't want to have children. And aren't you happy you already have a child? I don't understand why you. And I was like, oh boy, this is irreparable. You can't fix this. I can't not want the children that I can feel are coming for me. I felt those three for a long time. I knew they were there. I wanted them. I wasn't going to give them up for anybody. So I had to end that, and I cried for several weeks straight. And I just thought, I might have a couple hours where I was good. And I remember going to brush my teeth one night, and I started crying again. And I thought, am I ever going to not cry? To go like, when does this stop? Like, my God, when does this go away? And then one day I realized I hadn't cried that whole day. And the next day I realized I hadn't cried that whole day. Oh my God. And the sun starts shining again. And you just kind of, have you ever felt that? You start to go, okay, oh my God. And how strong was I? And I'll tell you, like, now, my husband now, if anything happened, I would be devastated. But I had multiple relationships after that. I was like, man, you can scare me. If this doesn't work, I'm good. Because I know I can get through it. I can get through it. I'm tough. Yeah. I got this. You know, if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me. But it gave me like a confidence out of that miserable patch right there. So sometimes we just grow this immense amount of strength and confidence and understanding of ourselves. Like, oh my God, what am I capable of? Kind of like you jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. Did you? I mean,
I keep telling you there was a hole in that airplane. It wasn't.
No, you jumped out. You jumped out. But when you do stuff like that and you get to the other side, you go, oh my gosh, who is this badass person right here? Like, hold on a minute, right? And then the next thing comes. And then the next thing comes, and you're like, oh my gosh. Sometimes it's so that you can help someone else going through something. Now I'm 2 steps ahead of somebody else who might be experiencing the thing I just went through, and I conquered it. Right. And now I can be there for you, and I can have grace, because I'm not going to be like, get up, what are you doing? No, I'm going to go, oh, I know in my own way how that felt, so I can be patient and give you grace and help you move through that, because I remember. You know, all of these things, it just makes us, I think, better and better. I don't want to say, I don't like calling myself just a human, but a better human experience, I guess, to help others through this human experience. You know, yes. As we're all here together. And so the more that we have awareness of the things that come out of difficult situations, the good that does come, that expands. That expands within ourselves. And then more joy comes from life, because then we can see it in a different way. You need me to help you with that?
No, I got it down. It's like up, down, up, down.
Like someday you'll be like, this knee's awesome.
That's right. Well, I know. I can't.
The pain.
Honestly, it will be that way. I know.
Right.
But today, in the now moment.
We don't
yes,
suckers. So any comments? Anybody feeling anything about what I know you guys are like, we've all been there, yes. We've all done it. Conquered lots of things in life, right? Yeah, and it makes the good so good. It makes the good so good, right? And I love seeing our friends show up for us. I love seeing that. Maybe they're not perfect all the time, and maybe they're, not always on it. But when you call out, right? When you call out, and they're there, and that's a beautiful thing to see. That outpouring is beautiful to see.
Yes. And I remember before I even had this tribe, so like back in '97, I'm first getting sober. I was first diagnosed with cancer and everything, and the sobriety community is such a tribe, right? They really are, and they love drama, and so I was the most
drama,
and I was the most dramatic person that had been there in a while. So this time I'm a little taller, a little skinnier, and bald, and and they just clung to me, which is what I needed, right? I know it's hard to believe, but I like to be the center of attention. And they just clung to me. And so I had this group of women that took me out, took me out after a meeting, took me out for prayer, took me just, let's go here, let's go there. Here's a thrift store, like I was never alone and never had to be alone, while I was going through that. And I didn't even know these principles yet, right? So it was just like we were talking. Well, Michelle was talking about that with you last week. Truth is truth, right? Truth is truth, right? And so that is something. No man, no woman is an island, and you don't need 50 people. You need one. You need one other person to say, "Okay, I got you, kid." I know this ain't happening right now for you. And my person, I beat up so much, like, I got it. Dakota's trying to help me, and I'm all like, I got it. Okay, wait to just spill something.
It's a real simple. Look, it's very easy. It's just it'll work for you.
I've been trying to be better. I've been trying to be better and allow myself to be helped, because, well, that might be the other reason it's more painful, right? So that I stopped trying to do everything that I thought I should be, and shitting on myself, because I should be. Right. I should be doing blah blah blah. I've already made the list of the shoulds that I have to do.
The shoulds cause a lot of stress.
They really do.
Stop that right now.
They really do.
I'm speaking to myself.
Okay, good.
Stop that right now.
Stop it right now.
I know.
But I think sometimes that's what we're here for, is to learn those things that we don't know, or those things that we've been taught that we forgot.
Right. And sometimes we have to hear it several times
in different ways.
And we have to beat it over the head.
Different languages, exactly.
Oh, she's kidding. Sometimes we need a couple. Like what?
But I'll take a newspaper smack over the head versus the bricks that I normally get.
So, right?
I'll do that any day.
2x4s.
Yeah, I'll do that any day.
But sometimes that's what we need, because we're not listening.
All right, so how are we going to expand our awareness of good? Where are we starting? Within! Yay!
It's not a trick question. There's only one answer.
There's only one
Begin
answer.
with it. It's always one answer.
All right. What else did I write down? It's a pop quiz. We're turning it inside, right? So one of the other things I wrote down was, what brings me joy? Where is joy asking to enter my life? And so, as we have our last few moments here, have you ever been on something where, we had a lot of this, where we wanted to throw in many little travels and also get to my daughter's house and get home on time, right? But we wanted these many little travels and stuff. And there were so many times there that I was like, we should move, like in my head. But I knew that we wanted to experience this travel part of it as well. Like, it's not, to just keep driving and looking at highway. So those are our Facebook fans. You probably saw our stop at the thing. That is exit 322 in Arizona. Please go. I swear it's worth it.
What is it?
I can't tell you. I can't give away any secrets.
I
can't give away the secrets. I'll show you pictures later. I did post pictures on Facebook. One of the other places that we stopped was Rockhound Park. It was 1,000,000 degrees out, but we ate lunch and we saw some rocks we loved. And now we know that we'll go back there when it's cooler.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't stop in New Mexico when it's 107. It's hot.
Oh.
And but one of my favorite places we stopped was the hotel we stayed at in Las Cruces, which we will stay again when we go back out. It's on the outside, it's very unassuming, and doesn't look like it's in the greatest neighborhood. And then on the inside, it's like 1970s swanky.
Oh, it's a hacienda style, but
Yeah.
it's
It's got a pool inside. I'm serious. I match everything. Yeah, it's just the most adorable place. And then we got some recommendations of places to eat, and yeah, so you know, and I would have missed those if I wasn't listening to my joy, right? If my joy says, "Hey, knock knock, do you want to go thrift store shopping? Hey, knock knock, how about you wear bright colors today? You know, hey, knock knock, I know that your sugar's really high, but no, wait a minute, I'm watching that one really well. So, and I've been really good at that. I've been doing better.
But your joy had to tell you wear bright colors today. I'm just curious about that.
My joy tells me to wear bright colors
I
every
was
day.
gonna say you already
Yes.
wear it every day.
But that was one thing I listened to my joy about. And then, so as a theme, so a little side note there when it comes to bright colors, I think you've seen it, my fuchsia work shirt. It's like that color.
Yes, that other.
They didn't have them. And then this year they got that fuchsia
Yeah,
color.
I love
They
that.
had red, blue, and white. And then they added in this fuchsia color. And I was like, this is my color. I
Like,
love this.
thank you.
All my jewelry matches it. You know, and I was like, wow. I got my toes done when I was out in Texas. Me and my mom and my daughter went to Petty's, and my mom was going to pick white, and we told her not to be boring. And so she picked some pink, and then I picked this bright orange, and my mother goes, "Where are you going to wear that with? How much orange stuff do you have?"
A lot,
I was like, would you believe it?
like everything.
I own everything orange. It's my favorite color. So, you know, just to, yeah.
I don't know, moms say little things like that.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna wear that? Like,
Really?
my mom used to.
What does that match?
What do you-
Everything I
What are
own.
you gonna ever do with that? Like everything.
Yeah, I was that person too, and they said, "Oh, you're gonna get a tattoo." I go, what happens when you're 80?
Oh, us mothers.
Yeah. So if I'm 80 and somebody's looking at my tattoo here, yay me.
Be happy you're 80.
So there's that tattoo.
Right? I mean, there are so many things to celebrate in that comment.
Look at her.
Look at that joy. That's right. Celebrate that I'm 80 with a tattoo that people want to see.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone run, get that tattoo.
That's right.
So-
That is the moral of
Celebrate
today's
when you're-
story.
The moral of the story. You all need tattoos.
That's right. There we go.
Yes,
Ah.
someday we'll be 80.
Someday.
That's right.
With
Oh my
tattoos.
goodness. We have a quiet crowd today.
We do.
It was so good. They just didn't have anything to
Or we bored them to death. One or the other.
sleeping. Are you
Yeah.
sleeping?
They're
Aw,
complete.
That's Anne so good.
She is. She knows the right thing.
I know.
She gets them in her little pocket
She's like-
cards. What do I say today? Oh yeah, we were complete. I kid you.
No, Anne usually says, "Thanks for staying up last night working on this service
That's
just
right.
for me."
Alrighty, I'm gonna ding and you're
So
gonna.
I'll pray us out
You're
if
gonna pray us
no
out?
one's gonna jump in. All right, let's take a deep breath with this. Recognize one life. Recognize one energy, one power. Recognize there's only one. It is joy. It is laughter. It is that calm connection surrounding each of us. It is who we are. Each one of us is that joy. We are each that energy, that power. And it moves in as and through each one of us. We express it uniquely. We use it uniquely. And from that place of my knowing, from that place of my knowing our truth, I speak my word into the law for our time together today, for each one of us. Knowing that as we allow ourselves to remember our truth, as we allow ourselves to move with that truth, we recognize the good. We see the good in everything. Live the point. As it, we are a way for it to enter the world. We each have that special power within us at all times, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of reality, regardless of the feelings. The truth is we are joy. We are love. We are peace. And as we stand in our power, as we stand in our truth, this is what we create more of in the world. For ourselves and for each other. And I'm grateful for this truth. I'm grateful for the knowing of it. I'm grateful for the accepting of it. I'm grateful for our time together. I know it is always divinely guided and blessed. So I let it go, knowing and trusting that it's already done its job. And together we say,
And so it is.
How can we support you?
Oh, thanks for asking. Well, there's a couple of ways you can support us. You can like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And you can also join our Facebook group and become a member.
and that's called Sofa Sunday.
So this Sundays on Facebook. You can also become a Spiritual Church Club partner for $45 a month, $75 for a couple or family. And that is at beginwithinministries.com. And that allows us to continue to do this every Sunday, as well as bring things to our partners like classes and experiences and workshops and mugshots and our mugs. Woo! So, yeah, so those are the ways you can support us. But one of the biggest ways you can support us is come on down.
Yes, if you're wanting more of this type of community, if you want to help us build this community, if you want to be a part of something really special, this is what Sofa Sundays is all about. This is what Begin Within Ministries is doing here in the world, and we invite you to be a part of it. You can be a part of it in person or online if you're not local, but we appreciate all that support because this is what we're doing. So you can join us, and but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
We're
That's
bringing
pretty
the
much it,
joy.
yeah.
We're bringing the joy.
We're bringing the
love.
joy.
We're bringing the tribe. We're building that community. We're excited about it. So thanks for being here with us today.
We will
I'm glad
see
you're
you
back.
next week. So we will see you next week with a special guest with us too.
Yes,
So yeah.
Yes. We've got.
Are
can
you
we
rolling
say
your
it?
eyes at me, young
Can we
man?
say it?
Yeah, I think we
Can
can.
we say who's going to be?
Yes, Reverend Cindy Fairmont will be our special guest next week on the sofa.
That's right. So don't miss it.
Don't miss it. We'll be here.
Come here, be in person.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.